What's up YouTube, this is Joe from Zephyr Wargames and I'm bringing to you guys a deck update to DDD post Burst of Destiny. My words just got mixed up there. Yes, so this is DDD post Burst of Destiny, and before I get into anything I want to give big double shout outs to both Jacked YGO here on YouTube as well as Absolutely Absurd as well here on YouTube, because they are both great DDD content creators here on YouTube. I do watch a lot of their videos. In fact, whenever they make a DDD update, I always give a good glance, a good look at it, and a good watch, just because these guys do come up with some great text and some great choices and ideas and builds for DDD, which does help me nowadays inspire my own variants and my own creativity, while also meshing in my own craziness as well. So the main deck, funny enough, the main deck is heavily is nicely inspired by Absolutely Absurd, and the extra deck is inspired by Jacked YGO, which is quite funny how I managed to do that there. But yes, so I'll get into this profile, and as I get into it, I've laid it out a little bit differently as I normally do. Normally it's like normal spells, traps, and monster spells and traps. Today I've done it as a basic stuff, and then at the end is the main stuff I want to talk about, so I can quickly breeze through the beginning bit and then heavily talk about the rest. And so yeah, this is again post Burst of Destiny. This does not contain Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. As you can even see here, like the engine isn't even in here. You can play the engine in here. I will do a quick recommendation at the end as well, as I get into the important bit, probably at the end actually. Again, if I remember it, what you could swap out this the engine I'm playing for the Phoenix engine as well, so you can get a good idea on like two different builds that you can potentially play here in DDD, because as you all know, DDD is such a complex deck. You can build it in a multitude of different ways, and I kind of like bouncing between two at the moment, just because they're both equally as good as each other. So before I get into this, if you enjoy this, give us a like and subscribe down below, ding that notification bell, because obviously if you enjoy a person's content here on YouTube, you don't want to miss out on that content, and that notification bell helps prevent that, and all of that is greatly appreciated, and we thank you guys so much for doing so. So with all that said and done, let's get into this DDD deck profile. So breezing through the monsters, because they're all pretty much staple and it's self-explanatory. 3 Swirl Slimes, 3 Necklace Slimes, 3 Lamures, 3 Keplers, 3 Copernicus. I've kind of dropped Ragnarok down to 2, and I bumped Ghost to 2. I think a 2 and 2 ratio is actually pretty nice at the moment. Ragnarok, you don't really want to see too many copies in your hand, so reducing the number of copies, you can even drop it down to 1, to be honest. So reducing the number of copies you have in your hand means that you're not going to brick on him as much, because other than being a recurrence and a help go second, he doesn't really do much for your combos, if anything at all, to be honest. Not until we get the brand new stuff in Battle of Chaos, probably that I can include Ragnarok a lot more in that. But so I dropped the Ragnarok down to 2, and I bumped Ghost to 2 because we're playing a lot of level 10s in the extra deck now. I think the biggest change to the extra deck is that we have so much variety and option that what we can end on in terms of our extra deck really does allow you to play a lot more level 10s, and to do help do that, we do play double Ghost to help us get into those level 10s. I had to do a quick extra deck swap, as I literally just brushed my extra deck as I was talking about it. I noticed there's still a card in there, so I had to take it out. But yeah, so we're playing a lot of level 10s now, basically, in short, and so we want to use Ghost to use our level 8s to go into our level 10s, so we're playing double Ghost for that purpose. Moving on into the spells, we're playing the obvious 1 for 1, 3 copies of Gate, 1 copy of Swamp King, 3 copies of Wealth Down. I'm bouncing between Wealth Down and Lord Darkness at the moment for the TCG variant. In OCG, I think Lord Darkness is just a lot better. But in the TCG variant, I'm kind of like, again, bouncing between this and Allure. And at the moment, I'm testing it. I'm playing Wealth Dow just because we, again, do play a lot of level 1s, and there's a tech in the deck playing, which does complement Wealth Dow a lot. And it does really help you search your combo pieces while also protecting your board. And speaking of that tech, it's instant fusion because Millennium Mice Restrict. It's just another way to out those hand traps, while also giving you a body on board that's level 1, so you can go with the Wealth Dow and search your combo pieces. It's very, very strong, very, very handy, and that's why I'm playing it. Going into hand traps, because we are playing them for our spicy tech thanks to Absurd. And I'll explain how it works. Double Phantasme and triple Ash, and because of it, we're playing triple copies of Small World. This is a brand new card, came out in Burst of Destiny, and it is a fantastic card. It is such a cool card. Very unique in how it works, especially with these hand traps. And it's the only reason why we're playing these hand traps. So if you don't know what Small World does, it's very convoluted. So what, in short, to make it simple to understand, you reveal and banish a card from your hand face down. You reveal a card in your deck that shares only one category with that card in your hand, being level, type, attribute, attack and defense. After that, you banish that card from your deck face down and reveal another card in your deck that shares only one category with the second card, being, again, type, attribute, level, attack and defense. So, and then you can add that card to your hand. So you banish one card from your hand, one card from your deck, both face down, and then you add a card from your deck that shares a category type. So in the case of these hand traps, which again, big shout outs to Absolutely Absurd for this. I didn't know that you could do it like this, and it's very hilarious that you can. You can reveal Ash or Phantasme in your hand and then reveal the other in your deck. They both share the same defense, being 1800, and nothing else. And then depending on what you revealed from your deck, differs to what you can add from your deck in terms of a DDD card. If you revealed the Ash in your deck, you can now add a Kepler to your hand because they both share 0 attack and no other stat. If you revealed Phantasme in your deck, you can add any DDD card in your deck because they all shared the Dark attribute and none of them share the same attack, defense, type and level, which is just so good. It's so cool. And I love the consistency that this does add in a very unique way, because it adds you consistency in terms of Small World. It gets dead hand traps out of your hand if you don't need them, especially going first. But if you're going second, those hand traps in your hand can now help either stun your opponent in the forms of Ash, or give you a bit of consistency in the forms of Phantasme. So I've gone for a 3-2 split, or 3-3-2 split, just to try and mitigate the amount of bricks in your hand. This is a 40 card deck. If you really wanted to, you can make it 41, add a third Phantasme, or if you wanted to alternate these two around, make it 3 Phantasme, 2 Ash, you can do that as well. I've only gone for this because as well, we're not in a very heavy Link format as far as I'm aware, and as far as I can see, like the top played decks. So I think like the only main Link based deck at the moment in terms of like the top meta ones is Tri Brigade. So other than that, Phantasme can be a little bit dead, which is why I've gone for this ratio, the 3-2 split. Another hand trap you can play is Effect Raider, because she shares 0 attack with Ash, but then you're limiting to what you can add, because you can't add Kepler with if you reveal the Veiler second in your deck, because they share both the same attack, defense and level. But you can add things like Lamia and Necro Slime, which is pretty good. So you can do that as well. Now, because I'm maining Ash, I've gone for triple cross out over the triple tactic silence. I've gone for this because it just gets more dead Ashes out of your deck, gets those Ashes out of your deck so you're not going to draw them, as well as just outright stopping the Ash. Ash is very common hand trap is probably one of the most common hand traps. If you wanted to, you could play a Imperm as well. The last card in the deck is Called by the Grave, because it is the superior hand trap stopper in a way. So you could play an Imperm as well, because that is also a very common hand trap as well. So that's another thing you could do. Again, make it a 41 card deck and put in the Imperm. I've gone for this at the moment just because I wanted to try and keep it 40. Just because that is sometimes the most consistent number when you're playing a deck. That's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we're playing the Double Genghis, Big Genghis, and Millennium Ice Restrict. Just overall the best fusions you can play in the deck, barring Destroy Phoenix Enforcer if you want to play that engine. Formula, Gust King, Curse King, Crystal, Savage for your 2 7s and 8s. And then for your level 10s, because we're playing 3 of them now, we're playing 1 of the Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Zheng Qi, 1 Baroness de Fleur, and 1 Satellite Warrior. These cards are all phenomenal. I'm not playing Kali Yuga. Well, I'm not playing Kali Yuga, to be honest. I'm not playing the King Calamity, just because overall these should, if you resolve these and get them on the board, you should be winning. Like, you should get that win, especially a board wipe with Satellite Warrior. These two are phenomenal. I did not know that this was as good as it was in DDD until, again, Jack5Geo pointed out and showed how it works, and it was just like, in terms of like the synergy. Because you think about it and you see it in action, you're like, mate, that's just bonkers. So if you don't know what this card is, it's a generic level 10 synchro with 3k attack and defense. And what it reads is that for each banished card, this card gains 100 attack and defense, and monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense. If this card would be destroyed by battle, would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish 1 card from the graveyard instead. And if a card or cards is banished except during damage step, you can banish 1 card from both your opponent's field and graveyard. You can use this effect of Sovereign Zheng Qi once per turn. So what this means for DD is that what you can do that you can't do in the actual Sword Soul deck, or at least not consistently and effectively, is combine this with Hulk. Because when you resolve Hulk, you banish the Hulk to get your formula, and then formula draws, and then you go Sovereign to banish, because the Hulk banishes itself, which is, oh, hello Warzord, which is really good. And you just go off that, you get your double banish. Your opponent's like, oh crap, cool. They try and continue, like, cool, Baroness de Fleur after with the formula sync one in one of your level 8s. It's like, oh, okay. Or if you're not, cool, Satellite Warrior, just nuke the board. It just combos so well. You tend to end your boards on this nowadays, and either Siegfried, Crystal Ring, or Savage, just because you're not only getting the negate of the level 8, you're getting a double banish of the Sovereign, you're getting your formula, and then that formula turns the negate level 8 that you've just now used into one of these two. I tend to go into Baroness unless I'm going like a back row deck and I go to Satellite, or if I feel like the popping is just going to end their turn anyway, because Baroness can not only be the Omni negate, but then on your following turn, shuffle herself back, get back the Crystal Wing or Siegfried that you just used, which is then really strong, because then you gain that back on your standby phase, so you're getting a nice free monster negate on your turn, or a spell and trap negate, to then safely continue your play and then kill your opponent, which is so good. I love these cards. Like the fact that I can now play level 10s so consistently and just abuse them so well is just really strong, and it's really cool to be doing something like this in DD now. At least until we get the pure support, and it's just pure all the way. Then we're going for the links to round up the extra is Bowl Sword, Hulk, and Cross Sheep. Just all self-explanatory cards there. That's it for the deck profile. I'm going to quickly show you guys the other engine that you'll be playing to replace the engine that I'm currently playing. So what you'd be doing, the engine is obviously the Destiny Fusion engine. It's just such a strong engine, and it does combo very well in DDD. We can abuse this so very easily, and it can just help you push through the game, push through those hand traps, at least end on something. And then the draw power and the free summon of the darks does complement the deck very well. So obviously if you want to play this, these two are going in extra, so we can put those to a side. You'd be taking out your small world package. In all honesty, I feel like the engines are just too much and they do kind of conflict. And then because you're taking those out, you'd definitely be taking out your crossouts, and then you'll be adding in quite a bit there. So you'll be taking those out. So that's 3 cards there, that's 3 cards there, 2 cards there, and 3 cards there. You'll be taking all of this out. So it's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 cards. You'll be putting these 5 in. You'll be putting these 2 in because you'll be taking out the crossouts for the tactics. And then you'll be putting in this, the Jack in the Hand engine. And the Ahara is something I've also got off Jacked YUGIOH. It's just a nice way to make Jack in the Hand a little bit more consistent in terms of like what you can get out of it, because you could reveal the Ahara, a Kepler, and either Necro or Lamia, and then your opponent is either going to take the Kepler, obviously, because they don't want you getting a search, which then in that case you just take the Ahara, especially the Ahara, and you have a free level 1 tuner on board, which you can either trigger your Wealth with, or go into a Hulk and then go off that way and start getting a Lamia and going off combo that way. So the Ahara does make Jack in the Hand very strong card. You can take the Ahara out, and if you do, I'd probably just put in another Tactics Talents, in all honesty, and go from that way. And then for your 2 extra decks, you're obviously your D Hero and your Predator Plant. I would then take out the Bowl Sword, and then personally I would take out the Savage, because I feel like I don't end on him as much. I tend to go for one of these 2, and then I just pick it depending on what I'm up against, because you're gonna get an Omni Negate out of it anyway in the forms of the Baroness. But yeah, that's the swap. That's the one engine for another engine, so you're getting 2 kind of profiles in one in this video, and so you can then go off that way and see how it goes. So yeah, it's a nice 11 card for 11 card split, depending on what you personally enjoy and what you personally like playing, and what goes well for you. But that's it, guys. That's the profile. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, a big shout outs to finally Absolutely Absurd and Jack YUGIOH. I'm going to leave their channel links in the description below, so you can go check out their channels. They not only do DD content, they do other content as well, but I tend to mostly watch them for their DDD content, because again, it gives me nice ideas for my own personal builds, and then seeing what other people are playing is always insightful as well when you're deck building. But as always, guys, like, comment and subscribe. Till next time, as always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.